Hey everybody. For this week's episode of Dota Diary, I kind of want to just take you back through the last 2 weeks of my MMR grind and kind of just talk about some small lessons that I've learned along the way, and also kind of reminding you guys of my philosophy when it comes to climbing and just generally being better and improving, right? In life as well as Dota. I will tell you guys time and time again that I think Dota is life. Like anything that you do in Dota will reflect itself some way in real life. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Banana slam jam.
About 2 weeks ago, I hit my all-time peak MMR. I hit 9680, which for me was pretty crazy. But then you see that pretty much immediately after, we started losing games, right? Went on a 7-loss streak here, and I dipped all the way back down to about 9440 in here, where I think this was about where I hit my lowest. And the thing about this is that there is a lot of variance in Dota, but I can assure you that I was definitely not playing my best in these 7 games. And while, sure, I probably had bad teammates, like worse than average, I probably should have won 1 or 2 of those games. And that's the message that I really emphasize to myself all the time. I've ceased to think about my win-loss for the day. What I've actually started doing is thinking about what my win-loss should have been if I played really well. Like, if I think I played about as well as I think I could have, what would my win-loss that day be? Because that's a really calculated, almost poker-esque approach. It's some games you just play like a god and you're going to lose. Some hands you play perfectly and you'll just get lucked out on the river. It's the same thing here. So it's even though I went 0-7 and I definitely felt like my teammates were not the greatest, if I could have gone 2-5, that's a big difference. That's literally 120 MMR. Difference, because instead of losing the 60, I'm gaining 60. So I've started thinking about things this way, right? And so as you notice, when as we come closer and closer to recently, I've actually started just winning a little bit more than I'm losing. This isn't amazingly green pages, but I've been creeping my way back up. And if you'll notice this, yes, there's little streaks here and there, but it's just 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 losses, 3 wins. It's nothing fancy. And I feel like what I've been doing with my approach of basically saying, what do I think my win-loss could have been? There were days last week, absolutely, that I thought I did not play well. There was one day right here that I played 3 games, and I assure you guys, I did not play well in these 3 games. And I went 2-1. And I was like, damn, I got away with some murder. I could have easily gone 0-3 today. My teammates kind of carried me. Based on how I played, I think I should have gone 0-3, maybe 1-2, right? And instead I go 2-1. And I think a lot of us focus on the games that our teammates kind of cost us, and we tend to forget about the games where we didn't play our best, but it was good enough that game. And a lot of us, myself included, I feel like we have a sense of entitlement, or we've earned that win. You know, you play a 40-minute game and you play insanely well, except for 2 big mistakes. And you're like, but God, is that really enough for me to lose this game? And in the past, I definitely took it almost personally. I took it offensively that messing up twice was too many times. But every game, no matter how many mistakes I make, whether it's 0 or 20, I ask myself, with how I played, was it the best that I could have asked? You know, every game you're going to have a chance to mess up. It's very hard to play a perfect game of Dota, and you'll win plenty of games where you make mistakes, right? So it comes down to, was that a reasonable performance? Even if I messed up 2 mistakes, would I have won if I didn't make one of those 2 mistakes? If I didn't make either of them? Understanding how well you have to play on average, I think, is a good indicator for where you are in your skill bracket. If you feel like you have to play perfectly to win every single game, then you're probably missing something. I'll just be honest. I've kind of realized that myself. I know for a fact that my last 6 months to a year, I was having mindset issues. It was not Dota knowledge related. It was consistency of being able to apply it. And so I didn't feel like I was playing well in my games and losing. You know, I felt like I was inconsistently performing which was causing me to lose. Everyone's going to be a bit different, but a lot of Dota is making sure you have the proper knowledge, but also the consistency to apply it. When I coach people and when I've watched your guys' replays, I've seen people all over this spectrum. Some people have a little bit of both as their issue. Some people are just completely missing the conceptual picture of Dota. And some people look like gods for 2/3 of the game, or like even 90% of the game, and then they just make one or two horrible plays that make no sense. Like they've been playing according to like the fundamentals of Dota all throughout the game, and then just randomly jump in and die. That's something that's good enough to keep you at 1 or 2K MMR. You know, what I'm saying here is that right now I'm ranked 176 EU. I am at my highest all-time MMR, which is 9710. It has been a slow creak up. You know, it hasn't been some rocket ship jump from 8K, which I was back in February, to now. What I want to tell you guys is that there is just so much accountability in Dota and so much like awareness that can be worked on. I truly think most of us lack. And for me, that is all this has been. This has literally been a journey of awareness of what I'm doing to cause mistakes, what my impact on the loss is. And it also helps the losses be less tilting, less frustrating. You know, in this Pudge game, for instance, if you watch it back, you see my K to D, I'm 3-7, you'd probably flame me. The early game, the opponent straight up 4-man ganked me 3 or 4 times in a place that I thought I was in position, and they all died. They killed me, but they all died. So it was like a 1-for-4 trade. It happened multiple times. And so this is the type of game where I was like, are those deaths bad? You know, if they kill me and lose 4 heroes, is that actually bad? And in my opinion, no, it wasn't bad. And what happens is, you know, I'm reliant on the people who got the kills, the Death Prophet in this game, and the Puck, to carry me. And at the end of the day, sometimes they're going to, and sometimes they're not. And when I'm thinking like objectively as I can, you know, as I can, there's always going to be some subjectivity there. I just ask myself, could I have played this better? It just made this loss really less tilting. Like if you watch this game, my Puck just like randomly died full to 0 3 times in team fights to like a solo Tusk. You know, my Death Prophet dove towers twice and fed. And it's like, those are things where it's like in the past, I would have just gotten really angry. You know, I would have been like, why is my team doing this to me? You know, the opponent ganked me and lost 4 heroes for this. And really just questioning myself and what I could have done better makes me feel just way more content with my losses. I accept my losses way more. And while I used an example where I genuinely believe I couldn't have done anything to win the game, there's absolutely examples of me losing games where I made a big mistake, you know, missed a Chronosphere on Void. Maybe I had one bad TP that like got me killed. And those are the games I'm trying to avoid, are the games where I lost and I made some easily identifiable mistakes that I knew could have been bad, and I made them anyway. All I can really tell you guys is that what I can attribute my climb to is the fact that those games are becoming more and more scarce throughout the course of my games. I genuinely believe that I'm now at a point where maybe 1 out of 10 of my losses are like truly my fault. Like where, man, I just completely botched that game. I actually specifically remember this Faceless Void game. What happened in this game was I was playing against Pure. This is a TI qualifying rank 8 carry player. And the dynamic of this game was that he could kill me if he saw me, because he had a lasso and he did a bunch of damage. And I had Cataclysm plus Mask of Madness MKB, so I would kill him if I saw him. And in fights, he was being incredibly patient, and I was not. So I kept letting the opponent find me before I found him. You know, I wasn't playing patient enough. And that literally lost our team the game. I made the same mistake in different ways 3 or 4 times this game. And I was like, damn, like, I know I'm the second highest ranked on my team, but like I straight up single-handedly did not play to my rank. Like I'm rank 170. I'm supposed to have an X amount of impact on this game, and I definitely played below that. And I'm just telling you guys that there's just so much peace in accepting games like this one and acknowledging that you did that. And I will admit, during this game, I was a bit demoralized, and that's something I'm trying to also overcome. Because I think acceptance of loss also is paired with acceptance of failure. accepting that you were the problem in that game. And that's not something that you should beat yourself up about. That's something that is just how it is. It's literally reality. And trying our best to form this reality in a realistic way, I do feel like a lot of Dota players are out of touch. Like, they just so worried about their ego and their pride. I definitely got defensive a lot in the past, and I'm still prone to doing it now. And it basically fogs their vision of what is realistic in a game. This is what this week's about, is the fact that I've been on a slow but sure grind. There are speed bumps on the way. I go down, I shoot back up. But the idea is the mentality I have going through these games. And I hope you guys have learned, something from what I'm saying to you today. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next week. Bye-bye.